Today is my first video of 2020, and we're gonna be talking about bouncing back. Because everybody's talking about glow up, glowing up, whatever, and I kind of sort of wanted to hit on that topic because I feel like I've really done a glow up in 2019 into 2020, but what I really felt like more than a glow up was a bounce back. 2019 was a difficult year for me. I moved, I went through a breakup from a long-term relationship. I struggled with anxiety more than I ever had in my life. I kind of want to talk about that today on my channel and how I got to be where I am right now, because maybe some of you are having a tough week, a tough month, a tough year, tough couple years, and it always helps to, I think, know that you're not alone. So today, instead of a glow up guide, we're gonna do a bounce back guide. From anything that made you feel put down, that made you feel like you were kind of set back, any difficult time, I'm gonna talk to you about how I feel that I bounced back from one of the most difficult years of my life. So if any of you have seen Princess and the Frog, you know Mama Odie's song, Dig a Little Deeper. She says, dig a little deeper, find out what you need. Thank you. No applause necessary, thank you. That's really what you need to do when you want to bounce back, because what I've learned is I was someone who loved Band-Aids, as I love to call them. I used food as a Band-Aid. I used obsessive dieting, restrictive eating, extreme workout plans, relationships, shopping as Band-Aids. And I saw something on Instagram the other day that said, are you healed or just distracted? And for a long time, I was getting myself into the same kind of relationships, the same kind of issues with food, the same kind of issues with money, because I was distracting myself instead of healing. You gotta dig deeper. You have to take the moment to realize what needs to change in your life and put that into concrete terms. So here's how I did it. I'll give you two options. The first one is a little pie chart that I found out about through this book called The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. It's not a new book. A lot of people have done it. A lot of musicians, writers, artists, even if you're not an artist by profession, you can still work through this book and enjoy it. One of the first activities you do is you identify what's lacking in your life. So you're going to create a circle and divide it into 6 parts. Those 6 parts are going to be romance and adventure, work, play, exercise, friends, and spirituality. Within each pie slice, you're going to draw a circle closer or farther to the center based on how satisfied you are with that part of your life. I'm kind of basing this off of my 2019 goals, right? The farther out, the more expanded and full you feel already in that field of your life, all right? So once you do that, you connect the dots and you can really see where your life is lacking and where you may feel like you need improvement. And this is just a very clear way to figure that out. Then once I did that, I wrote those 6 words. I wrote a goal for each of those words, and then a concrete way to implement improvement in my life in those areas. For example, spirituality, I wanted to connect more with my emotions and my intuition. So a couple concrete examples would be to journal daily and to allow myself to cry, which is something big that I did in 2019. I stopped stopping myself from crying. If I felt like crying on the way home, I just cried. In romance and adventure, some goals would be enjoy being single and stop seeking a partner. A couple concrete ways to do that would be I read the Codependency Recovery Plan because I realized with some soul searching that I am a codependent type. So this really helped me understand why I am the way that I am, why I was operating the way I was operating, how it was harming my life, and how I could change. So if you feel that you're codependent, on another note, I would highly recommend this book. It is by Crystal Mazzola. Another way for me to improve my romance and adventure in my life was to book a solo trip, which I did. I went to Big Bear, I took myself on an artist retreat, I booked a beautiful cabin, and I had a wonderful time. A work goal for me was to work consistently through the end of the year. My concrete changes were to get new headshots, to get my voiceover equipment all together so that I can record auditions for voiceover jobs at my house, and to sign to an agency in TV film. So if the pie chart is not your thing, you can also just do a brain dump and figure out what changes or what things you're dissatisfied in your life. A list might include codependency, fitness and diet extremes, not being as social as I'd like, having a messy space, feeling dissatisfied with how my apartment looks or not feeling comfortable in it, knowing that I have the issue that I spend money when I'm sad or feeling emotional, it's a band-aid, being overwhelmed with different tasks. And there are all sorts of solutions. I would suggest writing your problem and writing a solution. For example, when I'm overwhelmed with too many tasks, I feel like there's too much going on in my life, I implemented in 2019 saying no. Only saying yes to things I truly wanted to do, unless I had a true responsibility to be there, to say yes, to do whatever it was. I stopped saying yes to things I didn't want to do, and I felt much more in control and much less overwhelmed. That simple exercise, I really think, just clears up where you might feel like you're lacking and why you feel dissatisfied in your life, and what changes you can make going forward to really feel like there's a genuine leap of improvement. Now, of course, we all know it's what's inside that counts. It's the inner work, the inner healing that matters the most in terms of improving your life. But I really, really do strongly believe that it is important to take pride in your hygiene, in your appearance, to feel like you're dressing in a way that reflects who you are, to feel like you're taking the time to care for yourself as the treasure you are. So I did some things in 2019. I started being more cognizant of if I was really taking care of myself. Was I not exercising because I didn't have a job where I needed to be in a bikini? Was I skipping my skincare routine because who cares? I'm not really in the mood to film anyway. No one's gonna see my skin. I can just use a filter. Like, it got pretty sloppy in 2019, let me tell you. So here are a couple things I did to amp up the self-care for me, which is part of my bounce back. I started taking vitamins and probiotics, which I hate taking pills, but it's helped a lot. I take a vitamin B complex, I take a women's multivitamin, and I take a probiotic. I started to wash my hair a little bit more, because now that my hair is fully grown out from the pixie, I'm not so concerned about keeping the healthy oils in there for a super long time. The thing I find with my hair is that I think I'm good for one more day, and then I wake up and it looks really greasy and I don't like how it looks, and I wish I would have washed it the day before. So now I just make it a thing. I go to the gym, I work out, I go in the steam room and I take a shower. I use the fancy Kiehl's products to wash my hair. It's a whole thing. I make it a lovely ritual and a lovely reward for sweating and moving my body. So that's one small strange thing that makes me feel better, is that I don't want to have greasy hair. Another thing was improving my skin. If you guys have been on my channel for a while, you know I love trying out different skincare regimens. A lot of them have worked for me in different ways, but nothing really all encapsulating. And actually in 2019, I went on Accutane, which is an oral pill. You have to be on 2 types of birth control to be on it. You've got to get blood tests every month. It works miracles for a lot of people, and I really thought it was going to do that for me. And unfortunately, it made me very, very, very depressed. I'm not trying to scare anybody away from Accutane, but for me, I wasn't able to sing. It dried out my throat, so I wasn't able to work, and I became depressed to the point of also not being able to work. So I had to go off of Accutane. So I really thought I was gonna have perfect skin for life just by taking that pill, and unfortunately it didn't work for me. This is where I wanna get into what I've been using lately, which is Curology. I'm sure you guys are familiar with Curology. The ads are all over. You know, the girls making videos, taking off their makeup, and their skin looks amazing. And I was actually at the nail salon and girls were talking about it, and I knew it was non-spons because it was just real life, and they were like, no, Curology is great. So I was really, really excited when a representative from Curology reached out to me and said, hey, do you wanna try the system? It's personalized. I also really appreciated that they said, try it out. You don't have to talk about us in a video or anything. Just try it out and then let us know what you think. So shout out to Curology for sponsoring this video. So what was great about Curology is I set up my routine with a dermatology provider. She created the routine for me, my specific formula. It was targeted towards different things, but it was all in one bottle. You know, I'm used to having some pretty extreme reactions to topicals from dermatologists simply because I just thought that is what it is. So when I reached out to my provider to get my second bottle of Curology, because it was working so well, I actually requested that we up the dosage because I'm like, why not? Let's push it. So my bottle now has a higher dosage than my first bottle, which is really helpful. You can reach out to your provider if your formula is not working for you, if there's something you want to tweak. It feels really, really personal, and they get back to you really, really quickly. So I'm gonna show you my nighttime routine right now. No blurring, all honest, and check it out. Welcome to my bathroom. So I'm gonna walk you through my nighttime routine with Curology, and I'm gonna go just through the 3-step Curology routine because I'm gonna keep it simple tonight, okay? Everything works well for my skin, and I'm trying to maintain this. And I will zoom you guys in a little closer so you can really see that I am not ashamed to show you my skin. No blurring again, baby. So the first thing I'm gonna do is cleanse with the Curology, the cleanser. It's very, very gentle. I don't rely on this to take off my makeup. That's not one of the claims. It's to cleanse the skin. So I will remove my makeup with a micellar water and then go in with this. So let's do this. Take about that much on my very wet face. All right. Okay, now that my skin is dry, I will usually go about my business for about 15 minutes to really make sure it's dry, but I'm trying to go to bed tonight because I gotta get up really early tomorrow. But we can't neglect the skincare. So I'm gonna use my Curology treatment, and it has 3 different ingredients in there. That's me. So when I spoke to my Curology provider, I told her that I wanted to target texture because I had very heinous skin texture on my cheeks, and even though I hadn't had it for years since I was a teenager, in 2019 my forehead decided to pop off, and she also was giving us major texture, which is fun because when you wear makeup you can't cover it. But where? Not familiar with texture. Who's that? And if I went to a dermatologist, they would give me like 5 different topicals, and realistically that kind of routine is just not sustainable for me. I would just end up not doing it, and then I would not see any results because I wasn't doing the routine. So gonna go in with my treatment because this just targets everything I needed to target in one application. Yes. So I make sure to put it everywhere, including my jawline, because that can be a problem area. And it's gentle enough to put around my nose. A lot of acne topicals I've tried were not gentle enough to put in this sensitive area for me. And my treatment has never, ever, ever made my skin peel, made my skin burn. It has never done anything negative that people often associate with things that treat acne and different skincare concerns like that. So I'm really pleased about that. And then I'm gonna wrap it up with a moisturizer. Keep it simple, the Curology moisturizer. I'm gonna do 3 pumps and apply that to my skin. I like to give this area some extra love because that's where I get dry. Oh, it feels so smooth. And I think my lip balm wore off while I was washing my face, so always apply a little lip balm before you go to sleep. And that is it, y'all. That is my skincare routine. It's so simple, so easy. It's saving me so much room in my medicine cabinet, and just when I travel, I just bring 3 products. It's amazing. So if you want to try Curology for yourself, it's completely personal, so I highly recommend it. I'm gonna put the link down below, and all you have to worry about is paying for shipping and handling. Otherwise, it's free to get your first treatment. So I highly recommend you check it out. The results speak for themselves. Again, no effects on my face, no blurring, and I am so, so pleased. So check it out if you want to, and let me know what you think. Let's get back to the video. And I am really pleased that Curology has shown up at the end of 2019 into 2020, giving me that bounce back skin, because it's something I have to worry less about now, and I can play with my makeup and feel like it looks really good and not worry about the texture of my skin or covering. I can just play. Another suggestion for bounce back is to clean up your social act. Social media, it gives us a real chance to show our best sides or to kind of embarrass ourselves. Especially if you've gone through a breakup or you've broken up with a friend or something, it's really, really easy to post things with nebulous sort of captions that are directed to people, to subtweet. And listen, all that can be fun. I am not saying I've never been petty, but it really does nothing for you. And eventually, once you bounce back, you will look back at those posts and be like, why did I even do that, man? But let me just totally advise that if you can't say something nice, if you can't say something positive on your social media, stay off. I have a picture I posted in the thick of when things were bad this summer, and it says, get off social media and process your emotions. And I posted that mostly as a reminder to myself of, okay, you posting on social media is not doing the work that you need to do, all right? You have healing to do on your own. Post things that you're gonna look back and remember positively. If I look back this summer, although I had a really tough time, my pictures are of me with my friends, of me at work, me on stage, an outfit that made me feel good, a quote that I thought was inspiring or funny. And because social media is such a big part of our lives, if you're curating your social media to be positive, it will reflect in your life. Dive into your passions, whatever your passions are. This really saved me. If I had not been doing theater through this whole tough time last year, I don't know where I would be. I mean, luckily theater is also my job. It's my passion and my job, but I did about 3 or 4 shows in a couple months. I know I am really attractive to people and really fun to be around when I'm in my element and when I'm feeling good about what I'm doing. So why would I not do that, you know? Another one of my tips is remember gratitude. And this is a hard one because sometimes you really feel like there is nothing to be grateful for. You just can't think of anything. And it's so first world problems because it's like, really, dude? Really? But sometimes you are just in this cycle of self-pity. I get it. But if you truly want to bounce back, you've got to start noticing the good in your life, because it's not just going to drop into your lap that your life becomes perfect. It's not. So I kept a journal and I would write my goal was 5, but it usually ended up like being 15. By the 5th one, I just couldn't stop writing things I was grateful for. Simple things. My dog's health, my adorable apartment, my fridge full of food, I had a good hair day today, anything like that. I highly recommend writing a gratitude list at the end of the night, at the end of the day, when you're writing in your journal. It becomes an amazing habit and you really start thinking about these wonderful things in your life while you go through your day every day. It's powerful. Things will start to change. I am telling you, if you start being grateful, because you have something to be grateful for, all right? Things will start to change. It's freaky. You gotta have your alone time. This goes back into Band-Aids. I would use social interaction, relationships, you know, being on social media, going on, you know, Instagram Live and YouTube and all of that, and taking videos of myself and posting them on my story as a Band-Aid, because it made me feel like I was still talking to people. I had things to do. I was being entertaining, but I never really had to be alone with myself. Even when I was alone with myself, I was with millions of other people on social media. So I focused in 2019 on being comfortable with being alone, and it still is a process, but in 2019 I definitely improved. As I said, I went on a solo trip to Big Bear and I did not feel lonely once during that trip. I brought a guitar, I brought my piano, or like my keyboard. I went on a hike, I went to my favorite little brewery and got a burger, and I just was savoring life. And I did not feel alone once. I was so sad to leave. And that was a big step for me, because as a codependent person, a codependent personality, it's really difficult to be alone. I totally could have asked somebody to come along with me, and why wouldn't they? I'm going to a beautiful cabin in Big Bear, but I wouldn't have been able to connect with myself. I wouldn't have written for the first time in over a year, you know, written a song. So that was a really important step for me, going on a trip alone, I think really for the first time in my life, and feeling great about it. The only way you're gonna enjoy being alone is if you do it over and over again. You just have to do it, and eventually you realize it's not something to be afraid of at all. Connecting with friends is so important, and my 2 best friends do not live in LA. One lives in Boston, Kira, you've seen her on this channel, and my friend Bernadette lives in Sweden. So it's difficult sometimes. It's difficult to feel like I've got friends here. It's easy to feel really alone, but I do. I do have friends here, and it's important to reach out to them and make plans with them. People are not gonna just come to you. You've got to do the work as well. So in 2019, I reconnected with friends I hadn't seen in a while. I would show up to their shows. I would invite them to do workout classes with me. I invited my friend Kira to come out from Boston to visit me here. And if you look on my social media in the past couple months, I was spending a lot of time with people. I was balanced because yes, I was spending a lot of time alone, but I was surrounding myself with people that made me feel good. And that's another thing I've spoken about in a video about confidence. You can't let people into your circle who don't support you and don't make you feel good. So you gotta cut those people out. But connect with your friends. They want to see you bounce back. They want to see you do well. So when they start giving you that mindset, it's gonna shift for you that yes, I do deserve to bounce back. I do deserve better. I can be better. I can change my life. It's all possible. Another tip for bouncing back is reading for self-improvement. In 2019, I read more nonfiction than I think I've probably ever read in my life. I read the Codependency Recovery Plan. I read The Artist's Way, most of it. I read some fun, fluffy books like He's Just Not That Into You. I read all sorts of books that applied to different elements that I wanted to improve in my life. So go back to that pie chart and find some books based on where you want to improve your life, right? So if you want to be happy being single, read a book about being single and thriving. It could be a fluffy book, but it's going to teach you something, or at least you can criticize it if it doesn't. You can laugh about it. If you want to start a spiritual journey, read a religious text. You know, I have the Quran. I haven't read all of it. I also was given the Book of Mormon, and I'm not looking to join a new religion, but I do love expanding my mind about different faiths. That's one way that I feel connected to spirituality. So I'm going to continue reading those in 2020. So just find books that speak to you and speak to your soul and the journey you're trying to take yourself in. And it's basically like creating college for a glow up. You know, you're creating these different courses. And because I'm someone who's like an eternal student, I love feeling like I'm studying and like I'm back in school. I really enjoyed the process of reading things that felt like they were pushing me to be my better self. So I encourage you to do the same. Take care of your space. It's important. You guys saw in my vlog last summer that I had a lot of things around my house that I needed to hang. I had a mirror that I'm looking at right now that needed to have been hung for like 6 months, and I was kind of depending on other people to do it. I was just assuming it was just gonna happen, and then going through my breakup, I didn't really have anybody to do that stuff anymore, and I kind of took that for granted, and it made me feel really powerless because I couldn't do it or because I didn't feel like doing it. So one day I just did a TaskRabbit, and the guy came over and hung everything, and I felt immediately better. It was that simple. And this is my space. I mean, I mostly work from home besides in the theater, so it's important that I'm comfortable and happy here. Hang the stuff you need to hang. Throw out the stuff you need to throw out. Donate, minimize, get it done. Just get it done. Trust me. In 2019, for the first time in my life, I started decorating for holidays. I had Halloween decorations, I had Thanksgiving decorations, and I had Christmas decorations. I didn't really have a tree. I had a little mini tree on my kitchen table. Weirdly enough, I was just someone who never wanted to do that because I always imagined myself moving out of the space I'm in. I'm not gonna be here for too long. I don't need to decorate it. But I like this apartment and I'm happy here. I'm settled here, and decorating it just makes me feel like I'm celebrating that I have a home and that it's mine and that I'm gonna be here for a while. It was a weird little complex I had that I kind of got over in 2019. And I just started making my home a real place of comfort and refuge. So if there's something about your space that you need to improve or that makes you feel uncomfortable, you gotta do it. You gotta do it because your surroundings are so influential in how you feel about yourself and how you're able to work and rest. My last tip for a bounce back is to listen to yourself. Once you start being alone and being comfortable with it, and once you start journaling, maybe you take a solo trip, your intuition will improve. Your intuition will become so strong that it just becomes, you know, something that's unavoidable to listen to. One way that I listened to myself was I pulled back on YouTube. I stopped doing my Sunday live streams because I knew that I was giving out this kind of depressed energy, or maybe if you guys didn't even notice, it was this sort of responsibility and this kind of negative vibe that I was bringing to my channel, and I didn't like it. And most times I couldn't really get through some of the live streams without wanting to cry, and I would have to find ways to get off the live stream or to distract myself enough to not start crying. And it was my mind telling myself, take a break, stop. So I pulled back from YouTube. I found ways to listen to myself, to assert my boundaries, and to connect with my intuition and really trust in that, and it has made all the difference. I am sending you all of the strength, all of the willpower, all of the love, all of the intention, and the mindfulness to make this year your year. I am totally 100% sure that you can bounce back from this difficult time, that you will be better than you ever were before, and that you know the work that you need to do. And you can do it. Because I did it, and I really thought that I was not gonna be okay ever. At one point, you know, for several months this year, I really thought I was not ever going to feel okay again in my life. And I look at myself now and I'm proud of the work that I did. This was really the first time in my life that I consciously did healing work. I consciously avoided band-aids and sort of harmful and toxic behavior and people that would just kind of distract me from what was really going on. I really felt like I had a really mindful year, and I hope that this video helped you a little bit in giving you some ideas about how you can make this year the best year and how you can bounce back from whatever you're going through, because I know you can, and I want to help you get there. So I love you very much. I'm sending you all of the love, all of the adoration, the admiration for you even wanting to do the work to become a better person and play an even better role in this world, because you do matter and you do play a big role in this world. Onward and upward, my friends. I love you very much. If you enjoyed this video and you enjoy my thing that I've got going on, please follow me on my socials down below, connect with me, leave a comment, and I love you guys very much. Have a great rest of your day, night, week. I'll talk to you soon. Mwah. Bye, guys.